What's up, everybody? This is Colin from Holistic Heritage Homestead. I hope you're all well. Today we're going to be making some chicken run tea. Now, there's a lot of different ways to make compost tea or, soak things and use that as fertilizer. This is a little bit different, okay? And essentially all I did was I took some of the organic matter at the bottom of the chicken run, okay, which is the leaves and the grass and maybe some food scraps and all kinds of stuff that we throw in there. I took some of that and also some of the organic matter, the partially broken down compost from the compost ring. I took some of that stuff out from the compost ring, some of the stuff from the chicken run. Okay, the bedding, I didn't pull too much of the soil, just the compost carpet. Okay, check out the previous video on the compost carpet. I put that in a bucket, obviously made sure my bucket was clean, and I soaked it, okay? Now, folks, you can soak this, obviously the longer you soak it, probably the better. I don't know if there's a point of diminishing returns, but essentially all I'm trying to do is pull out the microbes, okay? So I'm trying to get a tea of microbes to inoculate what will be more of our food forest area. Now, when you do this, it's great because whatever solids are left over, you can take that and use it as like a partially broken down compost mulch, okay? And there's still gonna be lots of good microbes in there, still lots of good energy that has to be broken down and released. So after I soak this for a little bit, this is probably soaking for, I don't know, a couple hours or so, not too long. And I could probably get more than one serving, if you will, out of this. All I'm gonna do is I take some hardware cloth. Remember in the previous videos, hardware cloth, awesome, super useful for a million things. Yes, I'm sure there's better ways to do this. Yes, I could do this with bigger containers. Yes, I could give this a wooden frame to make sure it doesn't move around, but if you know anything about us and how we get down, it's to get things done. And instead of having analysis paralysis and waiting for the perfect system, and it doesn't matter. Keep it simple, get it done, and improve with time. So that's all I'm gonna do is I have this hardware cloth over here. I pour it through, just like that. Now folks, that's all you're gonna do, okay? This is full of nutrients, okay? All natural. Now with the leftover solids, I could push that down, I could let it sit, but for the video, okay, take the leftover solids and maybe, can't really see here, but I got a little comfrey here. Maybe I'll feed a little bit of the comfrey, feed a little bit of this comfrey, feed a little bit of this comfrey, and that's it. That's it, folks. And what you have left is super nutritious tea. With this tea, there's a lot you can do. I could inoculate this with some extra microbes from a good organic fertilizer that already has some microbiology in it, okay, and mycorrhizae in it. You could do that. I could add a bubbler and try to oxygenate this. I could try to make this anaerobic and turn it into, I think, what like David the Good, who has an amazing YouTube channel, he would call like his fetid swamp water or something. I'm not sure if that's what he calls it, but essentially it's just rotting stuff. Nature will take it, whether it's anaerobic, aerobic, or whatever, and it will break it down the rest of the way and make it bioavailable. You don't have to do much, because if something dies, then nature will break it down and turn it into its base components for you. And folks, anaerobic situations happen in nature too. You have clay, you have pooling water, weeds or grass or vegetation that is rotting without oxygen. Nature's still gonna break that down and take it to the next step. So don't overthink it, folks. What you could also do, okay, and again, talking about whether you do it in an aerobic way or an anaerobic way, it doesn't matter. You could take weeds or grass or whatever you want, and you could add it to this. Rough it up a little bit, let it soak. That's it. Now, whatever nutrients and minerals said grass or said weeds have mined out of the earth and stored in the plant, now this is gonna slowly break down and be released there. I'm going to use this today. I'm going to pour this on some of the areas we actually do have some wood chip mulch, which is not really anywhere over here, obviously, just to add life. Now, the organic matter itself is going to help change the soil, but just as if not more important is the biology. I'm going to simply take this and spray this and throw this everywhere that we think that we're going to have part of the food forest or anything growing at some point. Now, I could take the leftovers and again, just put a plastic bag over it. If I want to anaerobic, keep it closed. If not, poke a hole on top, you know, keep the unwanted things out of it. You could do that. Speaking of Comfrey, Comfrey is a great biodynamic accumulator. Now, technically all plants are biodynamic accumulators and they all accumulate different things, whether it's grasses or we have clover over there, I believe. Everything is mining nutrients out of the ground. So I would assume naturally, logically, that the more diverse of the different types of plants I could put in there, the more nutrients, okay? Comfrey, for example, has a large taproot and can go very, very deep into the earth and mine nutrients that have already settled deep into the earth. That's why Comfrey, you could do this with Comfrey tea. You could do it with just the Comfrey. But Comfrey would be one of those really good things to definitely consider adding to something like this. And now when I want to top dress or just pour this out, I could put this in a sprayer, absolutely, okay? I could also just simply pour it out. That's it. Now whatever microbes are here are going to spread. They're going to work themselves into the soil and start to break down whatever organic matter you have on top. And that's it, folks. Don't overthink it. You could quite literally just take a whole bunch of 5-gallon buckets or bigger, throw stuff in there, and let it ferment. Personally, just like David the Good is an advocate of, I believe if it's something you can eat or nature can eat, it can go in there. For us, that would be bones, maybe leftover pieces of shellfish, okay? Feathers, anything that was living at one point can go in there, folks. Now, if you look at your fertilizers you might buy, fish meal, you know, kelp, seaweed, it's a very diverse mix of different organic matter. So maybe there's some bones you have with some leftover meat. Put them in there too. Let it rot, okay? And let it break down and let nature do the rest of it for you. But the most important thing is you could have a lot of organic matter in compost, but if your compost is devoid of the biology, it's not going to go to the next step, okay? The bacteria, the protozoa, the nematodes, the mycorrhizae, you want to get a good bacterial and fungal dominant blend, okay? So keep it in mind. Anything you're pulling off your land has value. Anything and everything. This is why we consider letting things grow wild, because that's going to not only help remediate the land, it's going to mine different nutrients. One plant might be quite adept at pulling out calcium, while another plant might be quite adept at pulling out potassium, okay? So when you let things grow, it just gives you more options for your recipe. Gives you more ingredients to pick from, okay? And that's it, folks. So start making those teas. Don't overthink it. If you don't have a bubbler, don't worry. Aerobic, don't worry. Anaerobic, don't worry. Get some stuff soaking and use that, and you will be happy with the results, okay? Let me know what kind of teas you make, or fertilizer teas, or compost teas. This is a chicken run tea, technically a chicken run and compost ring tea, okay? Let me know what works for you. We appreciate the likes, the comments, the subscriptions, and all the support. Take care.